Morning everyone. Hi. Hello. Thank you all for joining for today. First things first, if you have seen my recent post, Winning in Work, the career podcast is now live and is in the top 100. In fact, the top 90, it's 88 as last time I checked, shows on Apple right now. So if you are not already watching and listening, get on there and watch it. It's amazing. So we've got 2 fantastic episodes on there at the moment. So if you are around and you are on Apple and you have an Apple iPhone, get on and watch. Watch and listen to Winning in Work. Some fantastic episodes up there. There will be a new episode every Tuesday, uploaded at 7 a.m. English time or British time. So get on board. And I'll post the link to the podcast in the comments. So hope you're all well. Hope you've all had a lovely weekend. Let me know what you're up to. This weekend I went bowling for the first time in forever. Not that great. I'm actually not that great, but not too bad either. So I went bowling and actually saw some family over the weekend as well, which was really, really nice. So let me know what you were up to and how you are starting your week ahead. I hope you're all starting in a good, positive Monday motivational mood. So we're going to talk about favouritism in the workplace. First of all, do you think it exists? And should it exist? That is a big one because a lot of people that can feel that they could either be the teacher's pet or they aren't, and they feel sort of disjointed about it. So have a real think about it. Do you see favouritism in the workplace and does it bother you? And what side of it are you? Because when you are the favourite and you're the one on the promotion ladder and you're the one getting all the perks, let's face it, it's pretty good, right? You don't care. You don't care about anybody else around you because at the moment you're the focal point. You're the one that is destined to do well. And that's what favouritism is, right? At the end of the day, some people will be the favourites, some people won't. But the most important thing is to see why people are the favourites. So a lot of the time people get annoyed that other people are progressing quicker than them. But one thing you've got to be aware of is performance. Be 100% sure of performance recognition, because if people are the favourites because they've worked hard, if they're putting the extra hours in, if they're going above and beyond, they probably will be the people that are flagged for promotion. It's just the way it is. And they're putting the work in, so really they should reap the reward to a certain extent. So really think about the favourites in your office, in your workplace, because if you are used to always not being the favourite, have a look as to why. Because there could be a really good chance it's just that you're not as invested, dare I say it, but maybe you just don't want to be top at walking up the promotion ladder, and other people do, so they're pushing themselves, and sometimes they are a bit annoying, sometimes they are the job's worth of the organisation, but that's because they usually have a bigger goal in mind and they want to move up. Well, I'm not saying that favouritism is always a good thing. It certainly isn't. The real reasons is trying to figure out why there are favourites and why there aren't in the workplace. If it's because you're working with your friends, this is when it starts getting a bit awkward, because let's face it, if you're working with your friends and your friends aren't really pulling their weight, they can't be favourites. And you've got to look at it from a really objective point of view. The people that you work with that are possibly not pulling their weight, but they're your friends, forget it. Get rid of them, because at the end of the day, friends are friends, work colleagues are work colleagues. And it's great when you can get them doing both, but you've got to be realistic here. You cannot have your friends working with you because the business won't do well, because they won't pull their weight. So you need people that are invested and want to do well. Bear in mind that favouritism isn't illegal. It's not illegal in the workplace. Discrimination is. Discrimination is illegal, but just having a favourite isn't. So you really need to have a think about what favouritism actually means in the workplace. I did some figures and I've done a little bit of research, and it actually turns out that 92%, I've got my figures in front of me here, but 92% have seen favouritism in the workplace, and a quarter of leaders have done it. So always remember that in every single workplace that you go into, there will always be favourites. It's just the way it works. If people are going to put the hours in and it's performance recognition, there will always be favourites. If they're favourites because they're friends, this is not a good sign. Or when they're family members, that's another big problem. When you've got family members that are in the workplace, always an issue. Because favouritism needs to be fair. And when I say fair, I mean they need to be pulling their weight. There needs to be a real reason for why they're a favourite. So have a think about your workplace at the moment. Are the favourites because they're working hard, or are the favourites because they're a family member or a friend or anything like that? Because when they are friends and they're not pulling their weight, this is when, again, people start getting demotivated. You end up with a separation in the workplace. People feel that their own talents are going unrecognised. And that's the issue. That's when it becomes icky, really. That's when people don't really like the situation that they're in. If people are pulling their weight, working hard, you go, well, you know what, they're doing well. If they're not, that's when it starts getting a bit murky. So think about it, because if you are in a situation right now where you are a favourite, good for you. Keep working hard and climb the ladder and make the business work for you. If you're not, this is the time when you need to really start thinking about why you're not a favourite. And there's two reasons for this, really. It could be that you're not fitting in with the crowd, which is an awkward one, and we'll get onto that in a minute. Or it could be that you're not possibly working as hard as other people, or you're finding the job a bit harder than others. If that's the case, it's putting the hours in, it's putting the time in to get yourself into that state where everybody else is. And whenever you start a new job, I don't know if you've ever noticed, you're always exhausted. And the reason why you're exhausted is because you're working so hard to pick up the job, and it's a whole new world to you. So it's still putting in that time, still putting in that effort. You know, show the motivation, show that you want to succeed. Be open about it. Say to your boss, look, I really see myself staying here and I really want to progress. That's what gets you into favourite status. If you're not that invested and you're not that motivated, but you still want to be a favourite, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. That's unfortunately just the way it is. If you feel that you're not fitting in, ask yourself, do you want to be in that organisation? If you're not fitting in, it's completely up to you, but you need to think about, is this a job that I can last and I can do the distance? Because if people are getting promoted up around you and it's due to favouritism and it's because you're not fitting in, it's maybe not the right career for you or the right company for you. It's not saying that it's a bad place, it's just saying that it's not developing you in the right way. So you need to be really honest with yourself and think about careers, because remember, as I've always said, winning in work is about, it's not the employer's job to make you happy. It's the employer's job not to make you unhappy. So you need to really think about this, because as I say, things like discrimination and having favouritism because of friends and family, that's making you unhappy, and that's something that the company is doing. If it's going further afield and it's more that you're just not fitting into the company way and the company culture, then that means that you're creating the awkward issue here. So you need to figure out what that means to you. So I hope that's given you a bit of an idea. If you are a favourite and you're going into the workplace and you're a favourite because of a friend, family, and you're getting sort of mates boosts in the workplace, all I would ask is that maybe you share the opportunities, you share the limelight here. You know, be a little bit more open to, to working with other people. Ask to be part of a working group and share the limelight. Talk about when other people have done well. Because, you know, good leaders share the limelight. So do that. As I say, if you're feeling that you just don't fit in, maybe this isn't the right organisation for you. And it's a tough thought, right? But there are so many places to work. So if you're not happy where you're working, you have the opportunity to leave. You have the opportunity to shake it up a bit. You don't have to be in a job that you don't like or that you don't fit into. But favouritism isn't always a bad thing. And that's the one thing you've got to remember, is that everywhere that you work, there will always be favourites. There will always be favourites because they're either, as I say, performance favourites, because they have worked their arse off to get to where they are and the company likes them, and they are unfortunately a bit brown nosy, but that's the way it is. But they have gone into the workplace because they want to do well, and you've got to give them that. It's only when favouritism isn't fair, and when favouritism isn't fair because the people it's not performance related favouritism, that's when maybe you need to put your hands up and ask yourself if this is the right company for you. So I hope that's helped. I hope that's given you something to think about. As I say, you know, on these lives, give me your thoughts. Any particular situations that you're in, we're in a Facebook group for a reason, because it's locked so that people cannot see what you're writing. People from the outside, you know, friends and family and such like, can't see what you're writing. So put in below, you know, where have you seen favouritism? Are you experiencing it? Are you a favourite, or are you a victim? You know, ask yourself that question, because if you are in a difficult situation, that's when you can write them in the comments below and I can give you an actual tailored response. At the moment, this is broad, this is general, this is just talking about, you know, current situations that I know of. But if you have a specific situation that you actually want to talk about, write it in the comments below and I can answer it directly, or I can jump online and we can do another chat. So I hope that's all helped. As I say, Winning in Work podcast, listen to that as well, because that is some fantastic career inspo, and it can to listen to on your commute in and out of work. So have a listen to that. Top 10, guys. So listen, please rate and review if you can, and just sort of move me up the charts if you can. And I'll be on next week. I'm sure I'll be on throughout, because it's International Women's Week this week, or International Women's Day this week. So I've got a few events and things which I'll keep you posted on. But as I say, it's great to see you. Happy Monday motivation. Let's get this week started, and I'll see you all soon. Okay, any questions in the comments. See you then. Bye.